Imagine a man walking into a room, a charming smile, captivating wit, and an aura of confidence that could disarm the fiercest critic. His laughter fills the space. His words seem tailor-made to lift your spirits, and in his presence, you feel seen, heard, even celebrated. It's intoxicating. You think, this is someone who truly understands me. But then something shifts. Slowly, almost imperceptibly, you notice the subtle digs masked as jokes, the dismissive tone when you express an opinion, and the uncanny way your triumphs seem to unsettle him. You dismiss these as misunderstandings. After all, he's so charismatic, so kind. Isn't he? This is the trap of the narcissist, a master manipulator who thrives on power and control. He builds a facade so convincing that by the time you recognize the cracks, you're already ensnared. And here's the chilling part. Narcissists aren't just individuals. Their tactics echo through relationships, workplaces, communities, and even spiritual circles. This isn't a modern phenomenon. Decades ago, C.S. Lewis, one of the most brilliant thinkers of the 20th century, uncovered the mechanisms of this trap. He didn't call them narcissists. Instead, he saw them as agents of pride, pawns of the devil, manipulating their victims into spirals of self-doubt and despair. Lewis's work, The Screwtape Letters, isn't just a collection of fictional demon correspondences. It's a mirror reflecting the ways we become ensnared by subtle, sinister traps. But what makes his insights so revolutionary is this: he doesn't just expose the traps. He gives us a way to escape them. To understand the narcissist's trap, we must first delve into the mind of the manipulator. What drives someone to build a web of lies and control? According to Lewis, it begins with pride, not the kind that celebrates accomplishments, but a corrosive, insidious pride that seeks superiority over others. In the Screwtape Letters, the senior demon Screwtape writes, "This strategy is cunning. A narcissist thrives by creating imbalance, confusion, and chaos. They pull you into their world, where their needs, desires, and whims take center stage. You're not just a participant, you become their pawn. Their charm is the bait, their criticism the hook. And once you're caught, they tighten their grip by playing on your insecurities." Screwtape's advice to his nephew Wormwood could just as easily describe a narcissist's approach. Make your victim focus entirely on themselves, on their flaws, their failures, their desperate need for approval. This is the first layer of the trap, the illusion of dependency. The narcissist positions themselves as your anchor. They make you believe you need them to navigate life, to find validation, to feel whole. And just as Screwtape instructs Wormwood, they're careful to do it gradually. This gradual erosion is their masterstroke. At first, their presence feels like a gift. They're attentive, generous, even self-sacrificing. But over time, their demands grow. Their generosity comes with strings. Their attention becomes suffocating. And their self-sacrifice, a weapon they wield to make you feel indebted. Lewis's genius lies in his ability to translate these dynamics into spiritual warfare. In his letters, Screwtape gleefully outlines how to twist virtues into vices, turning love into possessiveness, confidence into arrogance, and humility into self-loathing. And narcissists, consciously or not, employ these very tactics to ensnare their victims. But how does one recognize the trap before it's too late? Lewis offers us clues. He suggests that the key lies in self-awareness, not the kind that fuels insecurity, but the kind that shines a light on manipulation. Have you ever felt your confidence waver after speaking with someone? Have you caught yourself justifying their behavior even when it hurts you? These are red flags, and recognizing them is the first step toward freedom. Self-examination is a double-edged sword. When wielded correctly, it can cut through the lies of a narcissist, revealing their true nature. But when distorted, it becomes a tool of self-doubt and paralysis. It's not easy to escape the grip of a narcissist. They'll resist. They'll try to pull you back into their orbit, using guilt, charm, and even threats. But Lewis's writings remind us that their power is ultimately fragile. A narcissist's strength lies in your belief in their facade. Strip that away, and they're left with nothing. And so the battle begins, not just against the narcissist, but against the forces that enable them. In the Screwtape letters, Lewis writes not just about individual battles, but about the larger war for the human soul. A war fought with weapons like humility, gratitude, and courage. Weapons that we'll explore further in the next chapter of this journey. What if I told you that the trap isn't in the obvious? That the most sinister snare of the narcissist, as C.S. Lewis uncovered, isn't in their charm or manipulation, but in the darkness they plant within you? This is where their true power lies. And the moment you realize it, the forest begins to clear. But until then, you're running, endlessly lost in their maze. The narcissist's web is designed with precision. In the Screwtape letters, Lewis unveils how the forces of evil don't rely on grand, overt temptations, but on subtle, cumulative strategies. A nudge here, a whisper there, until you're ensnared without realizing it. This is the second layer of the trap: control through guilt and obligation. Lewis's Screwtape describes this with chilling clarity. Unselfishness, a virtue turned into a weapon. The narcissist thrives on your need to please, to avoid conflict, to be the good person. They convince you that their happiness is your responsibility, their failures your fault. Lewis understood that guilt is one of the most potent tools of manipulation. In the hands of a narcissist, it becomes a gavel that never stops hammering. But what's truly insidious is how they twist your strengths into weaknesses. Your kindness becomes naivety, your loyalty becomes a trap, and your love, a leash they use to tighten their hold. This is the third layer of the trap: isolation. The narcissist works tirelessly to position themselves as the only one who truly gets you. They alienate you from friends, family, even your own sense of reality. Screwtape's advice to Wormwood mirrors this strategy. Step by step, they isolate you. And once you're alone, their voice becomes the loudest, sometimes the only voice you hear. Lewis's insights in the Screwtape letters paint a devastatingly accurate picture of how this isolation corrodes the soul. The narcissist thrives on your loneliness, twisting it into dependence. They want you to believe that without them, you are nothing. But Lewis also offers hope. In the same way the narcissist isolates you, the path to freedom begins with reconnection, to truth, to community, to a higher purpose. In one of his most profound observations, Screwtape warns, recognizing the trap is painful. It forces you to confront the lies you've believed, the boundaries you've allowed to be crossed, the parts of yourself you've handed over. But as Lewis's writings remind us, this pain is the first step toward healing. To break free, you must reclaim your narrative. Lewis knew that the narcissist's greatest fear is truth, because truth dismantles their illusions. It strips away their power, leaving them exposed. Reconnection is key. Find those who will remind you of your worth, your purpose, your identity. And above all, anchor yourself in the unshakable truth that you are more than the sum of someone else's manipulation. In the Screwtape letters, Lewis writes not just of battles, but of victories. And the victory over the narcissist's trap isn't found in revenge or confrontation. It's found in the quiet, steadfast reclaiming of your soul. Breaking free from the narcissist's trap feels like escaping a labyrinth. Every step forward seems to pull you back. But as C.S. Lewis masterfully revealed, the journey to freedom begins not in the absence of the trap, but in recognizing the truth about yourself. Lewis believed that our liberation lies in understanding the battle for our hearts and minds. In the Screwtape letters, he reminds us of this eternal truth: the enemy, God, will not allow us to remain comfortable in the dark. It's this discomfort that becomes our key to escape. The first step is awareness. The narcissist's greatest weapon is deception. But once the light of truth begins to shine, their power begins to fade. Journaling your experiences, writing down the moments that didn't feel right, can help you see the patterns for what they are: manipulation, not love. As Lewis puts it, the habit of the darkened soul is to twist, to make the ugly seem beautiful and the wrong appear right. But in writing, reflecting, and questioning, you start untangling their web. Step 2 is reconnection. Isolation is the narcissist's playground. Community is their kryptonite. In Lewis's works, the power of fellowship, of shared struggles and shared victories, is a recurring theme. Remember, you are not alone. Find those who will remind you of your worth. This could be a trusted friend, a therapist, or a faith community. They will help you see through the lies and reaffirm what Lewis called the deep magic, the eternal truth of your value and dignity. In the Screwtape letters, Lewis reminds us that our true strength comes from leaning on the divine. The narcissist wants you to believe that they are the center of your world. But the truth? God has always been there, ready to guide you out of the darkness. Step 3 is rebuilding. Freedom is not just escaping the trap. It's creating a life so vibrant that the trap no longer holds any appeal. Lewis once wrote, "The joy of heaven is in the freedom of the soul. Rediscover what makes you come alive." The narcissist may have stripped you of your passions, but those embers still burn. Stoke them. Create. Dream. Thrive. Reclaim your time, your energy, your identity. Every choice to prioritize yourself is a declaration of freedom. Boundaries are your fortress. Lewis understood that evil thrives on access, but boundaries cut off its supply. Saying no is not selfish. It's survival. It's strength. You owe them nothing. Not your time, not your explanations, not your guilt. Freedom means living unapologetically in the truth. C.S. Lewis's brilliance lay in his ability to reveal the subtle battles of the soul. And here's the truth he wanted us to know. The narcissist's trap is not the end of your story. It's the beginning of your victory. You shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. John 8, verse 32. Step by step, you reclaim what was lost. Piece by piece, you rebuild what was broken. And with every sunrise, you become stronger, freer, more alive. If this video inspired you, we'd love to hear your thoughts. Like, comment, and subscribe to our channel for more stories of hope and transformation. Together, let's shine a light in the darkness.